So great to have you back in the second lesson where we will put some mathematics around the waves. So what we'll do is connect various variables like displacement y, position x and time t through an equation. This, by the way, is in scholarly terms called the wave function. Well, you may ask, why do we need to do so? So my answer is that when we deal with any waveform, if we know the wave function, or simply put the relationship between y, x and t, we'll be able to predict the behavior of the string or the wave at any time. In fact, what you'll see is that when we embellish any concept in physics with mathematical equations, we end up getting a lot more out of the concept. So you'll see that a basic equation that connects y, x and t will help us to find the velocity and acceleration of any particle of the medium as well. So if you're a little confused about what I said, I'd say do not worry, you'll understand it better after we complete this lesson. So let us say that a sinusoidal wave travels from left to right and every particle of the string oscillates in simple harmonic motion. However, what you can see is that the oscillations of the particles across the string are not really in step with each other. And when I say not in step, I mean each particle of the medium has its own y displacement at any given time. So say particle at point B is at max y value or the amplitude at t equal to 0 and returns to the equilibrium position or y is equal to 0 at t equal to 2 by 8 of capital T or the time period. Now the same happens at point A, that is, it is at a max y value at t equal to 4 by 8 t and at y equal to 0 or equilibrium at t equal to 6 by 8 t. So you can see each point is at different y value at different times. And if you observe closely, for any two particles of the string, the motion of the particles on the right lags behind the motion of the particle on the left by an amount proportional to the distance between the particles. So the cyclic motion of various points on the string are out of step with each other by various fractions of a cycle, and these differences are called phase differences, and therefore simply put we can say that each point on the medium has a different phase of the motion. So if one point has its maximum positive displacement at the same time that another has its maximum negative displacement, the two are half a cycle out of phase. Well, you can see that point A and B, or even point B and C, are half a cycle out of phase over here. So let's get the mathematics of all this now. And we can say that the equation that describes the wave motion is... Now, what are the various terms in this equation? So the first term on the left, yxt, is nothing but the displacement in the vertical direction or along the y-axis, and why we've written yxt is essentially we're saying that y is a function of position x and time t. Then what we have here is a familiar term, amplitude of this wave. Then we have a term called k, which is termed as the wave number. Well, some physicists also call it the angular wave number. X is the position and omega is the angular frequency. And this entire term you see over here, kx minus omega t, is called the phase. And the phase of the wave is, of course, the argument kx minus omega t. And you can see that as a wave sweeps through a string element at a particular position x, the phase changes linearly with time. So you can see that this equation can describe the y displacement of any particle at any position x and time t. Well, You can use this equation to solve a lot of numerical problems, but I think it'll be worthwhile if you also try to see how this has been derived, how this equation has been derived. So let's dive a little deeper and see the derivation of this equation, how this equation has come about. So let's say you have a wave like this, so that the displacement of a particle at the left end of the string where the wave originates is given by the equation yx is equal to 0 at any time t is equal to a cos omega t, which can also be written as this is equal to a cos 2 pi ft. So you can see that in this equation we are just talking about the point on the string at x is equal to 0 and no other point. In other words, this is a special case for a particle at x is equal to 0 of a wave function yxt that describes the entire wave. Now this equation tells us that the particle at x equal to 0 oscillates in simple harmonic motion with amplitude a, frequency f and angular frequency omega. So we can say that at t equal to 0 and at x equal to 0, the particle has a y value of a, because if you put t equal to 0, what you get is cos 0, which is 1. So the y value becomes therefore a, which is the amplitude, and then it momentarily rests at this position since it is now traveling back towards the equilibrium position. Now let us say that the wave disturbance travels from x is equal to 0 to some value of x equal to x1. And you must make a note that the wave disturbance has moved, not the medium or the particle at x is equal to 0. So essentially this peak has traveled to another point. The particle at x equal to 0 stays where it is. Then if we say that the wave velocity is v, the time taken to reach position x1 is nothing but the distance covered upon velocity. So the time taken t1 is equal to the distance covered, which we can see is x1 upon the velocity v. Now the disturbance has reached x1 after time t1, and therefore the motion of the particle at x1 at time t1 should look the same as the motion of point at x is equal to 0 at time t equal to t1 minus time it took the disturbance to move from x is equal to 0 to x is equal to 1. Well, we know that the time it took was x1 upon v. I guess you need to pause and think this part before you go ahead. So take your time, maybe take the video a little back a couple of seconds, listen to it again and then move ahead. So this essentially means that the displacement y at x1 and time t1 is this. So what we are saying is that this equation gives the y displacement at x is equal to x1, which would have been same as the displacement at x is equal to 0 at time t1 minus the time it took the wave to move from x is equal to 0 to x is equal to x1. So instead of x1, if we take x as a general value and time t instead of t1 as a general value, we can establish the displacement of any point x at any time t as yxt is equal to a cos omega t minus x upon v. And this is what we call a general wave function. Well, we can simplify this equation a little more and give it this form by doing a bit of mathematical jugglery. And what we'll do is, first of all, we'll say, well, yxt is equal to a cos of omega x upon v minus t. So what we've taken is, we have taken x upon v first and then t, and we know that cos of any minus quantity is the same as cos of that quantity. And we can simplify this further by writing omega as 2 pi f. So let's go ahead and write that, and what we get is y at any position x and time t is equal to a cos 2 pi f x upon v minus t. Next, what we'll do is we'll take the f term inside and rewrite this equation as y is equal to a cos 2 pi fx upon v minus ft. And well, we've learned in the earlier lesson that v is equal to f lambda, where lambda is the wavelength, and we also know that f is equal to 1 upon time period t, in which case we can again write this equation, the above equation, as yxt is equal to a cos 2 pi x upon lambda. Well, we need to put a bracket over here, x upon lambda, because you can see over here that f upon v is equal to 1 upon lambda, so you get lambda here in the denominator minus t upon capital T. And we can simplify this further by taking a term k equal to 2 pi upon lambda, and k here is nothing but the wave number. So if you do this, if you put k is equal to 2 pi upon lambda, what you get is yxt is equal to a cos kx minus omega t, because when you take 2 pi inside, then 2 pi upon t is nothing but omega. And well, you can see you've got your equation what we started with. So you've got the derivation of this equation over here. Well, we can make this equation more general by including a phase angle, as we did for in simple harmonic motion in the earlier lesson. For now, we'll skip that, but you can go back to one of the lessons in simple harmonic motion and see how you can add the phase angle as well to this equation. So what you can also see is that in the process, we've got a bunch of equations, and you can use any of the above equations depending on the problem at hand. Well, I would just want to caution you that some physicists define the wave number as 1 upon lambda rather than 2 pi upon lambda. So when reading other texts, be sure to determine how this term is defined. So if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and please do not forget to subscribe to this channel for many more interesting videos.